A turning point. It seems that much has been implemented, changed, updated, and revised over the years. Various acts and laws, regulations and rules to guide, coerce, and force society to adapt. This piece converges at a point just after the turn of the 20th century, 1902. And how this piece came to be was from reading about ADHD and when it was identified. Turns out it was discovered by Sir George Frederick Still in 1902. He described it as an abnormal defect of moral control in children. Sounds quite vague in my mind, but it's a start. Another interesting thing happened in that year, which I think may be important. The Biologics Control Act was formed. It included the regulation of vaccine and antitoxin producers and required both licensing and inspections of manufacturers. The standards imposed by the 1902 Act resulted in bankruptcy for 1/3 of the companies manufacturing antitoxins and vaccines, while benefiting the manufacturers already in compliance. 10 firms held licences within the Laboratory of Hygiene following the 1902 Act. Perhaps an early power move, taking out lots of competition with convenient regulations and making sure the rest do as they are told, or face bankruptcy. Money again being the greaser of the wheels with incentives and punishments alongside it to guarantee the result they require. Another thing that happened in that year was the 1902 Cremation Act, paving the way for many a crematorium to be built and utilised. And it may well be that it was simply a tool to be able to manage the dead and all that, but it could also be a good way to start disposing of what could later be considered as evidence. Roll out a substance, watch the devastating effects and study them for more efficient ways to cripple and maim people, and then be there to offer the services needed to deal with the fallout. Like all the institutions, it seems, create the problem, then appear to be the saviour with a solution. Clearly the obvious one would not be to cause it in the first place, but industry and consumerism have no place for avoidance. Their whole existence is to consume and control people, time, resources, and all areas of business and life, inserting themselves into your daily routine and life, and now trying to make that intrusion even more intimate. Schooling, relationships, work, health, and every other function that gets us through life, they want to be a part of, and now want control of. They also introduced an Education Act in that same year and abolished school boards, and replaced them with local authorities. Seems a lot went on in the UK that year, only a year on from Queen Victoria passing, and moving from the Victorian era into our brief Edwardian one. It seems they are very skilled at causing the problem, creating a label, and then design the standard you want everyone to fall short on, so you can then fix them, thereby giving rise to a very easy situation of being able to decide whatever you want to be wrong with people. Or take something that people naturally are, and decide that is wrong, or not normal, keeping in mind sometimes the people deciding what is normal aren't themselves. So, I believe we have to have a shared, agreed upon version of normal, which unfortunately has also been commandeered, for a clear purpose, and one which may be explained slightly in my article Consumerism, showing how they spend billions of dollars over decades to create a certain mindset in people and societies, and before that, centuries of various laws and regulations herding people into places and industries, forcing the people to comply with what the captains of industry decided. Covered a bit in A Working Strategy, but shows how where we are now really has been a long time coming.